What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mode video. So today we're going to be discussing my final thoughts on the GRAU assault rifle that was just released for Season 6. So I had plenty of time to use the assault rifle in various situations, not just only in shipment or on high rise, but just for normal everyday usage. Using it in shipment to get diamond, that's one thing, because obviously shipment is a very close range map, but obviously you want to know how the gun's going to perform in longer range maps like Nuketown, Crossfire, and just, other maps in general. I also look at, the reception of how people are enjoying the weapon right now, or if they are actually enjoying it. And for the most part, I do look at Twitter, I do look at, YouTube to see how people are actually, taking a liking to the weapon. And sometimes, yes, depending on the weapon, yeah, there will be a lot of positive feedback, and there will also be a lot of negative feedback. For example, with the HDR, a lot of people like that it was able to one-shot in close range no matter where you shot, but they just didn't like the fact that it was extremely slow. But, for a gun like this, the GRAU, a lot of people seem to be very neutral with it. They're not really saying that it's the best gun ever, but at the same time, they're not really saying it's the worst gun ever. It's kind of just in the middle. And it's been nice knowing that, most of the weapons that have been coming out recently haven't really been part of the meta at all. I mean, the only one that's really remained on top is probably just the CBR. And I guess the Razorback now since it got buffed, but when it comes to like the newer weapons such as the Dingo, HDR, or even the GRAU itself, it's not really part of the meta, but it does compete pretty well. I hear a lot of people saying that it's like a more upgraded version of the AMAX. It does more or less the same damage. It still has that 3-shot capability, when you shoot in the head. And yeah, it just overall, it's very stable, it's very accurate. And I do kind of agree, honestly. I mean, yes, this gun is faster. Even if you put like the no stock with the, the Archangel, like comparing it to the Marksman barrel and the no stock for the AMAX, it is a lot faster. Of course, that's kind of like where my complaint does kind of come in. The ADS speed is all right, but I will say that the ADS movement speed by default, and even like more so with the no stock, is a bit too fast for my liking. Obviously, that's just my personal preference. I don't like too much ADS movement speed, especially in this game where like the aim assist is super flimsy. That's actually part of the reason why I'm using the Archangel barrel right now, because yes, it kind of just neutralizes all the ADS movement speed. Yes, I do lose a little base movement speed, but it's not really that bad since I've been starting to use lightweight more frequently. And also, I'm not really too opposed of, you not using suppressors, because I know using a suppressor in this game is kind of like a must, but not all the time. There are like a few guns out there that I do make an exception for when it comes to not using a suppressor. Most would use like a monolithic suppressor to kind of like increase the range, or, some would also use maybe the Nexus barrel to use alongside the monolithic suppressor for extra range, but for maps like these, Apocalypse and just other ones in general, you're not really going to need that much range. If anything, if you're gonna use something with that much range, I mean, I suggest just taking it to BR. This is a common thing that I do see with a lot of creators. They tend to have like these very heavy class setups for maximum range, but at the same time, most of these maps are not even that long range, if you think about it. I would see Ferg, whenever he would share his SKS class setup on his top videos for like what weapons are like the meta, he would always put like a monolithic suppressor with like an extended light barrel on his SKS, and it's kind of weird to me, because you don't really need that much range to two-shot. If anything, you don't even need any range extending attachments to even two-shot in the first place. And again, like I said, this is something that a lot of YouTubers do. They make like really unnecessarily heavy class setups for multiplayer. I mean, for BR, I completely understand, but when it comes to multiplayer, it's just like, dude, chill. And even recently, I think with Bobby Plays, he puts like the extended light barrel with a monolithic suppressor on the Razorback that got buffed with a 3-shot capability to shoot to the chest, but it's like, dude, like, you don't have to put that much range. And like, again, like, what if you get yourself into like a face-to-face gunfight with an enemy that's like a few feet away from you, and you're not fast enough to pick up your weapon? These are things that you kind of have to consider when you're, talking about using a weapon that's just great all around. I mean, for me, like, that's why I kind of just like stuck to just using the Archangel barrel, because I mean, that's really all the range I need for multiplayer. If anything, I could have gone with just simply the monolithic suppressor, but I just chose not to, because I just thought, having, the extra stability and just, I guess, less ADS movement speed would kind of benefit me. And, you know, looking back, you know, with my friend Parker, we both used the weapon like as well, you know, after getting a diamond. And our class setups are kind of like night and day. I mean, he uses a more rusher friendly type of thing with like no stock in the drifter barrel and monolithic suppressor, while I'm more of a kind of like a long range build, but at the same time just have some speed. So point is, everyone is different, and especially with the GRAU where you have so many more options, yeah, it's gonna, like, people's class setups are always gonna vary. So another complaint that I do have is that this weapon is very limiting on what you could do with bullet spread, especially depending on how you actually want to build this out, because none of the barrels in this game actually help with your bullet spread. And if anything, I think there's probably some out there that reduce your bullet spread accuracy, but there's not one barrel, not even the Archangel or the Nexus barrel, that could actually increase your bullet spread accuracy. So you kind of have to focus on either using OWC laser or even the sniper grip. And because of not having bullet spread attributes for like those barrels, it kind of makes it hard to balance between using a heavier barrel with a no stock, because you're only going to lose ADS bullet spread accuracy. And that's yet again why I'm not even using a suppressor with this gun. I'm actually using the sniper grip instead, because again, with the monolithic suppressor, you do lose out on some ADS bullet spread. So that's even more bullet spread lost. So yeah, I would say that's really my only complaint. Like, there's not a lot of things that could help you with bullet spread, and you know, this gun is kind of weak with it. It's pretty average for the most part, depending on how you build it out, of course. But yeah, this gun is really restrictive when it comes to bullet spread accuracy. If this was like a Black Ops weapon, this would probably be less of an issue, but with Modern Warfare weapons, you usually do have to rely on bullet spread accuracy to some capacity. But one of the greatest things about this weapon is just the fact that, you know, every like barrel has a different iron sight, which is something I kind of like wish every weapon would have in this game. But you know, I know how COD Mobile is. They want to keep some pay to win aspects, and keep in mind with, you know, the tier 50 skin as well as the legendary skin, those aren't going to change whenever you change a bundle. I mean, yeah, like we kind of have to use just the base weapon if we want that feature. Another upside for this weapon is the fact that it's pretty generous when it comes to its ammo capacity. So they only have two different mags for this gun, which is the 50 round and the 60 round mag, which is actually pretty above average considering, you know, most weapons recently have not really been having a lot of, you know, ammo capacity advantages for the most part. I think the one that disappointed me the most recently was probably the OTS, because I mean, you do get an extended mag, but it only goes up to, I think, like maybe 32 or like maybe 40 bullets. But you know, there could have been something that could have been like a 60 round mag or even a 40 round fast extend mag, but they didn't have that for the OTS. And even with weapons such as the FFAR, I mean, that one came out last season, and that only goes up to like, I believe 40 bullets or 44 or something like that. So, you know, most of the guns recently have not been too generous when it comes to ammo capacity. Just bottom line, the ammo capacity, I guess, generosity with this gun is very welcoming and very, I guess, refreshing to see. So overall, my final thoughts on the GRAU assault rifle. I mean, it's an alright assault rifle. It's not the best, but at the same time, it's not the worst. It's somewhere in between, but you know, I would say it's probably maybe just a better version of the AMAX with just a lot more movement speed, but also very restrictive on ADS bullet spread penalty, which I already talked about in this video. But yeah, overall, I mean, the gun is just, you know, above average, or I guess just average in general. So there's nothing really crazy about it. Am I going to expect a buff in the later seasons? Probably. I'm not really that sure. Maybe they'll add some ADS attributes, or I guess ADS bullet spread attributes to the barrels later on. But as of right now, I mean, the GRAU is kind of like at a good place, I guess. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mobile content. I'll see you guys next time.